first thing we're going to do, type in word students. That's our title of this list. Notice I didn't turn my bullets on because I don't want that title to be part of my bullets. Enter. And it would be a good idea to have your show hide turned on. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up to the home tab in the paragraph group. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is turn on your bulleting. Now, there's two sides to your bullets. There's the side that just turns on the generic bullets, which are the little black dots, or you've got a drop down. Click on the drop down, and this is where you can choose what kind of bullet you want. Now, if you look at my bullets, you're probably like, why does she have some cool bullets and I don't? You don't yet, but you will. So I have a bullet with Spencer's picture. I have a bullet with my logo. I have a little red alien. I have a purple plane. I have a green alien. So these are some bullets that I have customized. Okay. But for now, let's just choose the regular dot bullet. And let's just go first name here. And I'll just do, let's do Tracy, enter. Jasmine, enter. Notice when you turned your bullets on, all you had to do is turn them on. And as soon as we typed in Tracy's name at first and then we entered, you got another bullet, and another one, and another one. Isn't that cool? So you turn your bullets on and it just stays on until you're done. After my name, enter. But I'm done. I'm done with this list. How do I turn the bullets off? How do I stop this from giving me more bullets? Well, just like how we turned it on, we go back and turn it off. So remember I told you any of these icons that are kind of highlighted with a gray box around them means that that feature is turned on. So all you got to do is go back up and click on it to turn it off. So after my name, I entered first. If I had turned it off when I was still on the line that had my name on it, it would have turned off the bullet next to my name. And I didn't want that, right? So I enter after my name. I'm done. I don't have any more students, right? And I want to turn that bullet off. Just go back up and just click on the three little bullet dots right there and turn it off. So regular bullets are super simple, but there are a couple things I want to show you here. What if I wanted to replace Lynn with another student? One of the things I want to show you here is when I double click on Lynn's name, notice how it grabs the paragraph symbol as well. And if I backspace, if I try to backspace her name out, look what happens. You guys just watch me on this one first. And I backspace, and don't forget, I got the paragraph symbol there selected too. And I backspace, and look what happens. It completely gets rid of her name, and it also gets rid of the spot that she was in. All right, so I'm going to undo that. Now, when I did the double click on Lynn's name, it also selected not only her name, but it selected the paragraph symbol at the end as well. If I don't select the paragraph symbol and I only select her name, watch what happens. So in order for me to not select the paragraph, so see how like when I get to the end in her name, it automatically wants to grab that paragraph symbol? And I'm like, ah, hold your shift key, arrow to the left. Remember I told you the many different ways of selecting text? Your keyboard is one of the ways by holding your shift key and arrow up, down, left, or right. Well, if I arrow left or right, it's going to select character by character, and it will deselect just the paragraph symbol. So if I left click hold and try to select that way, it's still going to want to grab that paragraph symbol, which is annoying, right? Or if I try to double click, it's still going to select that paragraph symbol. To deselect the paragraph symbol, hold shift, arrow to the left, and it will deselect the paragraph symbol. Now, backspace, and it keeps her spot in line, and it doesn't eliminate that extra bullet. And so now I can put Kelly in her place. So it's not like it's a big deal though. So, but there is some differences from when you're selecting everything, including the paragraph symbol, and when you're not. Two different things happened. I backspaced when the paragraph symbol was selected, and it eliminated that whole line, that whole bullet. And then the next time I just had Lynn's name selected without the paragraph symbol. And when I backspaced, it kept the bullet, it kept me on that line, so I could just type in a new name. Now, if I double click Kelly's name and I backspace out, it's going to eliminate that line, and Jose, Elizabeth, and me, we kind of jumped up in the list, right? Well, if I needed another bullet, and if I needed it to be in a certain order in that list, here's what I would do. So if I wanted to add a name after Jasmine's name, I would click at the end of her name and I would enter. It gave me that extra bulleted line. It bumped the rest of us down. And now I can type Lynn back in. So at the end of my name, there's a paragraph symbol. If there isn't, go ahead and click at the end of my name, enter down. It's going to want to create another bulleted line. Go turn off that bullet because we're done after my name. Then click on that paragraph symbol. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put in Excel students, except this time, enter, we're going to do numbers. And again, I didn't want the title to be bulleted or numbered. I kind of just want to leave that on its own. Now, if I did, I would just turn on the numbers or the bullets right now and then type Excel students, but I didn't. So now I want to create a list of my Excel students, but I want them numbered. So come back up to the home tab, the paragraph group. You have 1, 2, 3 for numbering, and then over to the right, you have a multi-level list. We'll talk about that too. Hit the drop down on your numbers, the numbering, and here are your choices. So 1.2 dot, 1 paren, 2 paren, 3 paren, Roman numeral, capital Roman numeral with a dot, capital letters with a dot, small letters with a paren, small letters with a dot, small Roman numerals with a dot. So in this case, we're just going to do 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dot. And let's create that same list. Tracy, enter, Jasmine. And again, as soon as you turn on your bullets, you just start type, enter, type, enter, type, enter. That's all you need to do. When you get to the end of my name, so it'll work the same way here, except what will happen if I were to replace Lynn's name, right? If I don't grab that paragraph symbol, then I'll be able to put somebody else in her place. If I do grab the paragraph symbol and I backspace, look what happens. So I'm going to select her name and I'm going to include the paragraph symbol and I'm just going to backspace. Watch the numbering, watch what happens. So you didn't see that up here because they were just bullets, but now you see how the numbers completely adjust. So Lynn was in the number 3 spot, then Jose was number 4, Elizabeth was 5, and I was 6. And then when I took Lynn out completely, it bumped everybody back up and it readjusted the numbers. Isn't that awesome? This is what we call field codes. So when you turn on your bullets, you're not typing yourself 1 dot tab Tracy, 2 dot tab Jasmine. You're not doing that. You're just entering and it's creating a pattern. And the pattern is the 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dot, because that's what you chose. Now undo that, put Lynn back in, look at the end of my name, enter. It's going to give you a number 7. We're done, right? We're done with the list. So I want to go turn off the numbering. Bam. Now we're going to create another list. And this is going to be our Google students. Enter. And we are going to number this. So go back and turn on your numbering. But something else happened here. Something else showed up. All right. So I want to make sure everybody's with me. So when you go turn on your numbering, it starts back at number 1. And you got this little tag over here. I will tell you guys, if you ever see those tags, click on them. What is it? What is it trying to tell you? So what this is Word is trying to tell you something. It's trying to ask you something. And when you hover over that, you get some autocorrect options. To the right of that, you got a little drop down. You have one option here, continue numbering. What that means is, oh, hey, we see a list above that goes 1 through 6. Did you want to continue the numbering for this list and go and start with 7? Or did you want to start back at 1? If I choose to continue the numbering, look what happens. Isn't that cool? So you can choose to do that. And there might be a time where you need that to continue the numbering instead of starting back over at 1. In this case, I want to start back at 1. So I choose continue. Then I'm like, oh, that's what that, oh, that I didn't want to do that. Go back to that little tag because it's still sitting there and restart the numbering and it'll start back at number 1. Isn't that cool? So I'm not going to spend time on the Google students, but what I do want you to do is you probably have a number 1 dot and a little tab, and that's fine. Another way to turn off your bullets is just to enter a bunch of times. So, and that'll automatically turn off. Or if you backspace a few times, it will also automatically turn off your bullets. All right. So basic bullet and numbering 101. Now, what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to have you do a page break. So we go to the next page. So on the first page, as long as you're kind of at the end, or at least underneath the data that we've already put in there, go up to your layout tab. And in the page setup group, you have breaks. Click the drop down on breaks. And you're just going to do a page break. And you should be on page 2. How do you know? Go down here in the bottom left corner on your status bar, and you should be on page 2 of 2. So now what I want to do is I want to create a policies and procedures handbook. So I am going to turn on my bullets now because I've got a couple of different subjects. What we're going to do is go back to the home tab, go to your bullets and numbering. You can do the numbering, whether you do the numbering or multi-level list. If you choose numbering and it ends up being a multi-level list, then it's fine. So we're just going to do numbering, and let's do Roman numeral capital. So it looks like a capital I, capital 2 I's, capital 3 I's. Click on that. And we're going to type in policies. Enter. What I want to show you with bullets is that you have up to 9 levels of bulleting. Okay. And each level will look a little different. I'm going to do policies and then I enter. And then I want you guys just to watch me real quick on this one because I'm going to go kind of fast. Then we are going to create some multi-level lists. So policies, right? I tab in. Notice that the icon, right? The bullet changed or the number changed. That's level 2. This is level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's it. Can't go any further from there. Okay. That's what those bullets are going to look like on each level. So they remain consistent on the level that they are in. I hold my shift key, I tap my tab key, and I go back, 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 back. All right. So why did it do that? Like, why did the bullets look the way they did? So if you guys come up here to your numbering, and then I go define new multi-level list, click on that. So right here, these are all your levels of bullets, your 9 levels of bullets. This is what the first level will look like. This is what the second level will look like. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. If any of these levels are not what you want, then you can change it. Here's the cool part about it. You could change it. So if on level 2, I'm like, I don't want the A dot. I actually want to change that to a small Roman numeral. And instead of a period, I want to do a closed parenthesis. And down here, this is where, and again, this is probably, in my opinion, I think this is probably overkill, but I do want to at least show it to you so you know you can customize your bullets, you can customize the levels, you can customize how far it indents. So if I come up here to level 1, it's basically telling me it's a capital Roman numeral with a period. Okay. And then the position is basically saying the alignment for the number is a little bit indented to the right, and it's indented at 1/4 of an inch, and the text after the bullet will start at 1/2 an inch. So don't forget the bullet's here, right? The text is here. There's 1/4 of an inch between the bullet and the text. That's because of this. I can change that, and I can say, no, start my level 1 at 1/2 an inch in from the margin, and the text will be 3/4 of an inch. So watch what happens to this as I click on each level. 1/4 of an inch, 1 inch, or 3/4 of an inch. This is, oh, okay, 1.38. This is 1.50. Okay, so notice that it's being aligned further and further in from the left, which is giving it that staggered look, okay? It's just the indent is getting higher and higher, and the text where it starts at is getting higher and higher as well. Each of these levels, you get 9 altogether. The first level bullet obviously is going to start closest to the margin. Then the second level is going to go in a little bit, third a little bit more, fourth a little bit more. So it creates that staggered look, and that's what you would want. But you can totally customize that if you wanted to. Never, other than creating really cute little bullets with pictures of Spencer and aliens and stuff, I've never really had a need to adjust the numbering. And so in your brain, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to come down, but then I got to go in a little bit because I need to talk about this subject. All right, so let me explain what I mean by that. So we talk about policies, right? What about policies? Tab. What policies? Well, we have attire. So you are following me on this one. So we type in the policies, we enter, and we tab. What policies do we have? Well, we have attire policies. Okay, what about attire policies? Enter, tab. We have policies for men, and we have policies for women. That's it. We're going to talk about those policies, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to add more things after we've created the list, because the list isn't always a standard list, right? Enter. I'm done. Now I want to talk about a different policy. I want to talk about smoking. Okay, how do I go back? So when you tab, it goes to the right and you indent further to the right. Well, if you hold your shift key and you tap your tab key, it will go backwards. So now we're still talking about policies here, but now I want to talk about my smoking policies. Enter, tab. So I have policies for smokers, enter, and policies for non-smokers. So you guys starting to kind of see a pattern here? We're talking about policies. There's 3 policies we're talking about: attire, smoking, technology. Well, what about attire? Well, we have policies for men and women. What about smoking? We have policies for smokers and non-smokers. And what about technology? We have these 3. Okay, I'm done talking about policies. Enter, shift, tab, tab, twice. So go back twice. And now I'm done talking about policies. Now I want to talk about, let's just say, benefits. Enter, tab. Well, we have PTO benefits, right? Enter, tab. What about PTO? Well, there's PTO for full-time employees, there's PTO for part-time, and there's PTO for temp. So in those categories, we're going to be specifically talking about what the PTO benefits are for full-time employees. So hopefully you're starting to see a pattern here, right? You turn the bullet on once and you leave it alone. And all you need to do is type, enter, tab, or shift tab. And that's it. Now, what if we wanted to add PTO benefits for family members and we wanted that to go after the part-time? So now we've got our list created, but now we need to add something to it. Well, you just click at the end of part-time, enter down, it's going to give you another spot, and you can put family, which would probably not make the rest of the employees happy. But anyway, so it's really as simple as that. What if I wanted to eliminate something? Just like we did with the names, right? The Word class, Excel class and stuff. It's the same way. So what I could do is come here to family, double click on it, and backspace that out. And look at your bullets readjusting as you add or remove items from the list. And it is literally just as simple as that. So once you turn your bullets on, you're typing, you're entering, you're tabbing, or you're shift tabbing. Tab will go to the right, shift tab will go backwards. But it follows the pattern of your levels. So it's always going to be right.